So today I don't have a full face of makeup. I have my base on, meaning my foundation, concealer, bronzer, and blush because I want to show you how I cover up my acne when I'm going to be on camera or on special occasions. I really don't use any color correcting or any crazy stuff. I really do think that with the right tools and just a couple of little techniques, you're going to be able to cover up your makeup without going overboard or needing color correcting or anything that seems like a drag. If color correcting works for you, by all means, keep doing it. I'm not here to say what's right and what's wrong. Makeup in general is super personal, just like skincare. So I hope you enjoy, and if you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So we're going to start by applying a foundation. I'm going to use the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. This is in the color 4, which is a little bit light on me. I'm also going to use a flat top brush because it gives you the most coverage. And for me, like, my philosophy is not really covering your acne scars all with like a full coverage foundation. I like to go in with a regular foundation first. One thing that you probably notice is I'm not going to use any color corrector because overall I just don't feel like they work for me. Maybe it works for some people, but it doesn't work for me. Like the peach under eye corrector works great. So I am, however, going to apply a little bit of under eye concealer. I'm using the NARS in the color 2.2 Nougatine. I'm just gonna apply it under the eyes. I don't really want to apply it anywhere else. So now I'm going to use a concealer. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer by NARS in the color 2.2 Nougatine. You're going to want to get something that's very similar to your skin tone, so it doesn't enhance or look patchy, it just looks like your skin. This one's a really good formula because it's long wearing and it's matte, so it really doesn't move around too much. So for this kind of concealing, I think it's perfect. Okay, so my number one trick that I would recommend for anybody who wants to cover up acne scars or acne marks is to find a really thin concealer brush. This is not a concealer brush, this is the Rowan brush, but it is pretty thin and pointy, and I like to use it to really like pinpoint on the areas. If you use a really big concealer brush, then you're just going to end up with concealer on areas that you don't want it. We're just going to go into the concealer and we're going to start just painting over the areas of major concern. So for example, I have one back here. So just use your finger to tap away and blend. This concealer is a little bit lighter than my skin tone. Just by correcting those little dots with a small concealer brush, you can see that a lot of the acne is pretty much not really visible. So that's how I correct before my color products, meaning my bronzer and my blush. So right there you can see it looks a little bit white because this concealer is lighter than my skin tone. But when you have acne, one thing to keep in mind is that you're not the only one. A lot of people that struggle with acne are very ashamed, and with the internet there's so much filters and so much blurring, and you kind of feel alone. You kind of feel like everybody has perfect skin. Really, you're not alone. We're here to help. So that would be step 1 is to conceal with a really tiny detailer brush and a matte concealer like the Soft Matte from NARS. These are my two go-to for this job. I think it's perfect and I couldn't recommend this concealer anymore if you are doing this kind of correcting. Okay, so now that we're going to add our color products, meaning our bronzer and our blush, I would recommend just setting your face and using powdered bronzer and blush. But I understand that we all love cream products, so I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how I apply cream products after I just did this correcting. And sometimes the acne scar will pop up again when you add color products. It would just take on the color of the bronzer, for example. I'm going to apply the bronzer, but I'm just going to be tapping. I'm not going to be swiping. You don't want to swipe away the hard work we've done. Okay, so that is the bronzer. I'm also going to add a little bit of blush. I'm using the Hourglass So sometimes after your bronzer and cream products, cream colored products, you start seeing your acne just show up again. So what I usually like to do in this case is I like to mix all the colors that we have put until now together, because after you apply all your color products, that spot right there is not going to be your skin tone anymore. If you apply your concealers, it's just going to look like you have your skin tone like a little patch. So what I like to do is I like to grab in the back of my hand the colors that I used. So I'm gonna put a little bit of the bronzer, a little bit of the blush, and just a little bit of my foundation, or in this case concealer, and just like create a color. Just grab from here and start mixing, grab from the blush. Sometimes this takes work, sometimes I don't get it off the first try. So after all that hard work, you're gonna want to set it. So I'm using a powder puff because I recently discovered this powder puff by Beauty Blender and I've been obsessed. So that is what I do to cover up my acne. I don't really think you need excessive makeup or excessive tips and tricks. And just know that we're all imperfect human beings. Don't be fooled by the Instagram filters. I also don't want to give the impression that this is what you have to do every single day. This is what I do when I'm going on camera or on special occasions. But yes, I hope you like it and I'll see you on the next one.